What's up, people? This is Nature Girl 30 here, and the new year is upon us. I mean, 2012 is about to be straight out the door, and 2013 is right around the corner. And usually when the year changes, I am a sucker for countdown shows. I love any kind of countdown show, whether or not it's video games, whether or not it's music, whether or not it's moments, whether or not it's the best or the worst. But I've seen in the YWC that everyone's doing the best of stuff. So me, I like being a little different. So what I decided to do was to make my top 10 worst wrestling moments of 2012. Now, I actually went to you guys and left the question on my Wrestling Fan Nation page, as well as NoDQ.com's discussion page. You guys were a great help. You actually did give me a lot of your answers that I actually did tabulate, and most of them pretty much matched up with the same feeling that I have, except for one that I actually had to add in, but that's how I felt about it. But before I get started on this list, I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for participating. This was actually pretty fun for me in a really strange way, but yes, this was very fun for me. And also, another disclaimer, this is my list, and this is pretty much how I feel about it, how I tabulated the whole thing, and how I put it in order. This is pretty much my list, but this is what you guys had to say about it, and this was pretty much all of your answers that you guys have given me. So, if I didn't put it in that right order, go ahead and do your list and send me a video response, because I am curious to see what you guys think about this. Or actually, leave your personal list in the comment section below. I'm actually going to probably type in the entire list itself in the description box so you guys can have a good look at it, since I'm not going to have anything flashing up on the screen, because I just want to just say it and not do anything flashy. I'm just pretty lazy today. But anyway, let's get on to the top 10, shall we? Starting with number 10, Zack Ryder getting screwed out of the U.S. title. Now, I believe that was at Extreme Rules when he lost his title, I believe, to Antonio Cesaro. I think so. It's been a while back, and it's a shame that I can't remember that, because I actually do like Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder, I was rooting for him the first time that he started getting noticed from his internet show, because he really hasn't had a championship. He's been there for a while. He deserved to actually have a starter belt. Unfortunately, that happens to be the U.S. title, and he was very proud of having that title. And it's a shame that they took it off of him so fast and he have a chance to have a decent title reign, or at least have a good build to have a decent loss that won't make him look weak. But unfortunately, they took the belt off of him way too soon. It was heartbreaking. It wasn't as bad as what happened to Christian, but either or, it was sad. It didn't really give him a good, healthy title reign. So yes, he is down for number 10. Moving on to number 9, WWE's Twitter overkill. Now, they want to get involved in social media for a very long time, and they did ever since CM Punk did his infamous work for Money in the Bank. And ever since CM Punk left, he was pretty much to be seen around on YouTube. He had a lot of tweets, and that was the time when the WWE was starting to make their transition to social media, such as Facebook and Twitter and Tout and all that other stuff. But it became a little out of hand when they started to use Twitter as a way to be interactive all the time. It was like Cyber Monday every single day. They actually had to do a Twitter event by allowing the WWE Universe to choose for them. Yeah, kind of make them the GM for one moment. And it was just ridiculous, because it was all rigged. Let's face it, anything that you vote for wouldn't matter, because it was like, it's like taking a test. You got one right answer and 2 wrong ones. You know what the wrong ones are, so you have to pick the right one out of process of elimination. That's pretty much how it was, and it was ridiculous to even have the Twitter votes up there, because it was rigged. It was set up to be whatever they chose it to be. So yeah, it is definitely going to be number 9 on this list. Number 8, which pretty much actually ties into number 9, is general managers. Why on earth would you have a general manager if you relied on WWE Universe to choose for you? That's pretty much how it is. So having AJ Lee as a general manager was pathetic, because she really didn't do anything but skip around and be a Lolita. And like she's pretty much a Lolita because she looks 12. But she really didn't do much of anything as a GM. Maybe there's a handful of times where she actually was involved, but it wasn't that much. And it was ridiculous. It made it look stupid. Booker T is probably the best GM there is at this point, but let's face it, he's not going to last that long. They're going to can him. And that's what they do with every GM that happens to be either on Raw or SmackDown. They find a way to get rid of them. So why even have them? What's the purpose? So that's the reason why I put it at number 8. Moving on to number 7, anything involving Vickie Guerrero. When Vickie Guerrero is involved in any kind of storyline or any kind of whatever, or even when it comes to a match or any kind of rules, it's all about her. she's pretty much sucking out all the activity, all the 15 minutes from the divas and putting it on herself. She's not as bad as AJ, but she's downright annoying. And it's to the point where that whole excuse me angle is starting to get tired and stale. And the fact that she's really trying her hardest to stay relevant and trying to keep up physique-wise with the rest of the divas, it's a shame, because let's face it, she's in her I think she's in her 40s, her late 40s, or is she in her 50s? I don't know. Either or. The point is that it's messed up because she's literally taking out all the energy from the divas, and this whole ridiculousness with the whole ridiculous John Cena AJ storyline. She practically just force fed it in our face. And it just got to the point where I literally want to shut off the TV because of that. So that's why I pretty much have her as number 7, as well as you guys. It's pretty much what you guys said when I actually asked the question. Moving on to number 6. Speaking of AJ, anything involving AJ Lee. Don't get me wrong, I like AJ. I've actually seen her perform. She happens to be a good wrestler, but she's extremely rusty because she has not wrestled in a long time. Now, I'm not talking about these matches where she has the roll-up. I'm talking about a real match where she does submission moves, technical moves, any kind of move that's a wrestling move. She has not done it in a while. She's too much either to be either a seat warmer, a valet, a girlfriend, a potential fiance, or whatever, a crazy chick. That's all that she's known for. She does not seem to have much of a purpose as a diva. She's just there. And it's to the point where her cuteness is pretty much outshining all the divas, and she's on my screen every single day as somebody's boyfriend, and I'm tired of it. So that's why I put her as number 6, and plus you guys pretty much made it known how much you're sick of AJ as well. But moving on to number 5 on this list is Jericho's return. We were all excited about Chris Jericho coming around. Even when they had the vignettes up there, we all knew that it was Chris Jericho, especially the way it was phrased. We finally waited. We finally had our moment. We finally had our mark-out moment that we finally saw Chris Jericho come down that ramp, come to the ring, and we thought he was going to say something epic. He said nothing. How long did this last? Weeks. Almost a month. Until he finally said something. And it drove me freaking nuts. That he literally trolled us for a few weeks until he decided to say something. That's probably the dumbest moment, the dumbest possible return ever. And Chris Jericho should know better. But either or, that was a letdown for me. So I'm putting that on number 5. Number 4, AJ is John Cena's storyline. Yeah, it was dumb for 2 reasons. Number 1, AJ was no longer a GM. Actually 3. AJ was no longer a GM. Number 2, AJ and John Cena are consenting adults. Even though AJ looks like she's 12 years old, she's 25 in real life. So it's actually pretty much they're consenting adults. So why on earth is this a scandal? And number 3, Vickie Guerrero kind of force-fed it in our face to the point where we literally just wanted to punch the screen. Yeah, I mean it was way overkill. And plus not only that, she was a hypocrite for even bringing it up in the first place. She did that with Dolph Ziggler. She did that with Edge when she was married to him, and she did that with the Big Show. And she was married at the time. So it was kind of a contradiction. So it was really no point of even talking about the storyline in the first place, let alone bringing it up. So yeah, that's number 4 for being the dumbest moment. Not really number 1 yet, but that's number 4. Moving on to number 3. This is pretty much the granddaddy of that ridiculous storyline. The one that started it all. The Claire Lynch AJ Styles storyline of TNA. Yeah, it was stupid. It was probably the worst storyline that's ever happened. It was worse than seeing Daniels versus AJ over and over and over again. It was worse. And the fact that Daniels and Kazarian was even involved made it worse for me as well. So that was the granddaddy of that horrible storyline. And I was just flat out sick of it. And especially the whole baby angle. I felt like I was watching more Provich than actually seeing my TNA show. And if I said it wrong, correct me. I don't care. But either or, it was a dumb storyline. It was ridiculous. I'm happy it's over. And it is my number 3. Now moving on to number 2 on this list. Number 2 is the 3-hour Raw. Whoever came up with that brainless idea to have a 3-hour Raw was either really tired, on drugs, or something else. I mean, I hate to sound crude about it, but it's just stupid to have a 3-hour Raw when you barely have enough material to fill in the second hour. I'm halfway passed out every time I'm watching it. At the middle of the second hour, I'm gone. So what's the point of having a third hour? People cut out at the second hour. Not to mention it is nothing but filler for the second hour. It's really no purpose in having one. And not only that, if you're in another country and it's a different hour, it's a different time over there, and you want to watch the show, it's far too late. So honestly, they shouldn't have a 3-hour. The third hour is ridiculous, and it actually does make your brain fall asleep during the second hour. So yes, the 3-hour Raw is my second choice on this list. Now, I know I'm flying through this. So I'm going to actually put a recap in the description box below, so you guys will have a chance to take a look on what I voted for and what I actually tabulated from what you guys actually gave me. But my number one, and nobody really put that down, but this is what I put down, because this is pretty much the whole setup to how much it's sucking right now. The number one worst wrestling moment of 2012, the beginning of the PG era. Actually, the PG era itself. Maybe not the beginning, because I know the PG era pretty much started a little ways back. But the PG era itself is probably one of the worst moments for me of 2012, because it just got worse. It wasn't all that bad last year. It wasn't all that bad for 2012 because of the whole CM Punk Money in the Bank work. And that pretty much made the PG era a little bit more entertaining and a little bit more tolerable. But for 2012... the PG era sucks so bad, it literally made half of the YWC shut off their TV sets and literally took a hiatus from doing videos, period. It made Mr. Parkin, of all people, walk out of his review. It made the Off the Rope show. A lot of other groups, a lot of people, it started a chain reaction. When Raw sucked so bad for the PG era, it literally had every YWC is shut off their TV sets and absolutely stopped making videos altogether. And also, they had probably one of the lowest ratings they have ever had in years. Either a 2.2. They haven't even made a 3 in so long. And the one thing I can say is that watching the PG era, anything PG just based for kids, is such watered down cookie cutter mess that it literally it's just flat out bad. And every single show is bad. So I put this as number one on my list because the PG era itself made everybody shut off their TV sets, find something else to do, and it actually started to create the lowest ratings that has ever happened in WWE history. So yes, I'm putting that as my number one, the PG era. I'm going to put down my top 10 at the description box below, like I said probably 3 times already. You guys tell me what you think. Do you agree with me on this list, or do you have your own list that you want to come up with? Leave your comments in the comment section below, or better yet, send me a video response. I'm curious to hear what your top 10 is. But that's my top 10. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the Niche Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.